All right, there we go. So we are recording. So welcome to Email Marketing Essentials for Business. One of my favorite, all of them are my favorites. This is really my favorite because it is so important, as you will learn. But we always start off by reminding you of all of the great services that SCORE offers. So I am a workshop presenter, of course, as you see here, but I also am a volunteer for the SCORE Los Angeles chapter on the marketing/workshop committee. They are combined. So I'm on both sides. The only thing I'm not is a mentor. But we do have a lot of great services to offer. 200 plus chapters nationwide with over 10,000 active and retired entrepreneurs and executives. If you're not aware, I think it's about 60 years. It started out as the Service Corps of Retired Executives. That's what SCORE stands for. But because we have a lot of active entrepreneurs and executives now, I kind of don't focus on an acronym, but that's how it did start out all those years ago with a couple of retired executives starting it out. But we do offer a lot of services. Our mission is to help you succeed as a small business at any stage you're at. So if you're just starting out with a good idea to start a business and need help getting that off the ground, scaling your business, anywhere in between, maybe at the point of you want to sell your business, they can help with that. So hopefully we're creating a lot of success stories here. In addition to this workshop you're attending today, we offer mentoring services one-on-one. You can have it virtually, in person, by phone. They can be anywhere in the country now. You don't have to be local unless you want that. Tons of great website resources. So all of the websites, whether it's your local chapter or the nationalscore.org, you can find a lot of great downloads. You want to find a business plan or anything, on-demand webinars. All the chapters have different content, so you can visit any of them that you want. So a lot of crossover content, but there's some that might be more specific to that chapter or district. So lots of great stuff there. Some of the topics you might find across the country, definitely usually you'll find starting your business, how to create a business plan, financing your business, tons of marketing topics as usual, right? Maybe even franchising model stuff. So lots of great topics you'll find on there, and definitely take advantage of the mentor service. The only thing they don't offer, mentor can offer free legal advice or direct free financial advice, just general, how to access capital, things like that. And these are the local chapters where the chapters are now working in what's called districts. So this particular district is hosting this, Long Beach, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, and Ventura County. So if you're in any of these chapters within the district, these are your local websites. If you're not, I know we're all over the country, you can go to score.org if you don't know your local chapter's website address, and you can find it there, and definitely find mentors as well there. So that is SCORE. And also, one final ask for SCORE, we always say SCORE is one of those best kept secrets, which is not a good thing. So if you know at least one other entrepreneur out there, please spread the good word. Let them know. Just tell them, go to score.org, help them with their business at any stage. So please do share. So some of you have met me. I know I recognize a few names in the room of people who have attended my classes or I've talked to, perhaps do business with. But I have been in the online space for a million years. As you can see here, I've been this is my 20th year in the wine industry. But I do work with all types of businesses, business to consumer, business to business, as you see here, medical, educational, financial, legal, a little bit of everything, restaurants. And I do teach for SCORE chapters all across the country, a dozen plus SCORE chapters, plus SCORE National. So this again is hosted by my home district here. And I do teach for other chambers and business source centers and private organizations as well. And I currently serve for NAWBO Los Angeles. I'm currently the membership director. That's the National Association of Women Business Owners. So if you are a women business owner, definitely check out NAWBO. There's 50 chapters across the country. And I also serve on our local Chamber of Commerce board. Here we go. So now you get to share. I want to know about you. So in the chat, not in the Q&A, but in the chat, please share, what does your business do? And put it all in one message. Do you currently have an email list? Just say yes, no. If yes, do you email regularly? If you want to share which platform you use, MailChimp, Constant Contact, whatever it is. And then I'm assuming why you're here is because you want to learn about email, but do you have a specific email challenge? other than maybe I'm not emailing and I need to. That's a good one to put in there, but share. Please like to know who's in the room, what you do, and if you're using email currently, right? You can just put yes, no, kind of, sort of, right? And then just if you do have any specific challenge, definitely do share. And just a quick housekeeping, we are recording. You will get the recording, the slides. I'm going to talk about a content calendar. You'll get that. It'll come after the class, so you'll get everything. You don't have to worry about taking copious notes unless you really want to, but you will get that. And we do have both chat and Q&A. So if you can please put specific questions in the Q&A so I can distinguish them from the chat. The chatter going on in the chat box, that would be great. And I'll try to answer them along the way as I see them, or wait until the end to also do that. So I'm just clear the Q&A box. So there we go. And there we go. Make sure I have everything set. Perfect. It keeps sharing. Yeah. So you offer, I'm just trying to see who's in the room. Offer real estate, public information, share. Okay. Offer private one-on-one fittings. Home studio, yes, I have it, but don't utilize it. Okay, that's very important. Hopefully you'll start utilizing once you watch this class, right? Okay, perfect. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Okay, so first start off under this paid, earned, owned media, POEM, what we call it here in the marketing, advertising, PR world, right? So what does this mean exactly? Where should you go, right? Where should you spend your time and money? The first thing is your owned media. Kind of do this out of order here. Right, that's what you are responsible for out there, what you decide, what you want on your own media, and what you're going to sell, what you're going to put on your website and your product pages or service pages, what blogs you're going to write, what social media content, your email content as well. So you don't own the actual properties, but you own the content on the property. So that you should have all dialed in. Right? Paid media, and some of these things are going to cross over, of course. Social media ads, pay-per-click, anything you're going to pay for, influencer marketing if you do that, banner ads, and earned media is just that. It's, could be mentions, third-party review sites, testimonials, PR would fall under that, right? Social media shout outs, but of course you might pay for a publicist to get you earned media. So it kind of, encircles in the paid area. High spots in search engines. So if you're paying for SEO, you have to pay to earn those top spots in there. You might organically get some good SEO results, but sometimes you need a little bit of help with that as well. So where do you go, right? What do you do in the paid and earned space, and what do you do on your owned media, right? So how do you combine this all together? So that's what we'll kind of talk about today. So this is my drop the mic slide, as I call it. I can give you this number and then walk away, but I'll go ahead and continue with the rest of the slides. But this is why I want you to understand why this email marketing is so important. It is and has been for many years the best return on investment of any marketing tool out there. So for every $1 spent on email marketing, there's an average of a $40 return on investment. So it's generally 36 to 44. It will vary. Now, does everybody get that average every time you send an email? No. Right. So, but if you even get half of that, a third of that, even if you double at a couple dollars return on investment, it is still going to be the highest return on investment. So if you have a list and you're not utilizing it, or you're not growing a list and then utilizing it, you're definitely missing out. Social media, I think I have this slide where I left that off. Yes, I didn't change out the slide. Social media is about half of that. Social media advertising, $18, $20 and per $1 spent. So you can see here your SEO, internet display ads, banner ads look at $2 for banner ads. SEO, half of that. Keyword, your mobile, if you're doing text marketing, $11 average return. So you could see here, it's about a quarter of email marketing. Perfect. Yeah. So here's a PR pro in here as well. She understands the earned media space. But you see here, and that number hasn't changed, like I said, for many years. And it still is. And you'll see as I show you some more slides, how important it is. And hopefully I'll convince you that it's important to do it, right? It's not dead. So I hear this all the time. Right? I hear this, oh, I don't want to annoy my customer with emails. I hate emails, so I don't want to send out emails, right? They're going to hate me if I send out emails asking for money. I heard that from a nonprofit, right? And I asked, why are you in business? Why are you not, you've got to be like Oprah, you got to send out emails. Everybody gets an email. I probably guarantee the most of you in this Zoom room are not even slightly irritating yet. Never mind annoying. You're not doing enough. I'm like, oh, I do a quarterly newsletter. That's good. I don't know if I do more, they're going to be annoyed. They might even might see in that one quarterly newsletter, and you'll see how important it is to do more often than that. So, we want to send out more emails, folks, right? So let's talk email, of course, while we're here. So this is my top 10 email marketing mistakes we don't want to make. Okay. Not having a plan in place, right? Overall, right? First start with a business plan. If you don't have that, you start there. Then a marketing plan, or maybe that's part of your business plan. Have those goals set, know exactly who your customers are. So you know how to talk to them, meaning talk to them via advertising and marketing and PR and et cetera. Right. So you got to have that dialed in, right? Your visuals, your branding, all of that, having your processes in place to get this done, right? So having everything that includes with a marketing plan to make sure you do have that in place. Assuming your customers don't want email, you know what they say about assuming, right? We don't want to do that. They do want it, believe it or not. Watch the slides, right? Not collecting emails wherever you can. ABC, always be collecting anywhere you have. I'll talk about that as well. Not being consistent all year. One of the two C words you hear a lot, consistent and conversion, right? Unless your business, you only focus on certain times of the year and you don't need really income the rest of the year, you really want to be consistent all year because maybe your competitors are being more consistent, right? No call to actions in your email. So you don't want to send something out where you're not getting some call to action. Get them to your website, have them download something, buy something, look at something, right? Using your personal email account or using a freemium. So it's two different things with that. So, and I'll definitely talk more about the technical aspect of why you shouldn't be using a freemium, meaning a Gmail account or Yahoo or Hotmail as your primary business account. First, I don't think it looks very professional. I think you should use your domain, should match your website address. Because I look that up a lot. If I'm looking at business owners I talk to, and I'm like, I want to look at your domain, then I can go see, oh, I can go find their website address. But if they give me, like I have Golden State Marketing at gmail.com, I go, well, I can kind of guess what that is. But you don't know it's .net, right? As opposed to using Patty at goldenstatemarketing.net. And again, there's technical reasons for that. Also, using your personal email account, meaning sending out promotional emails, campaign emails via your Gmail account or your what do you call it? Your Outlook or Apple Mail. You should be using an email platform for that as well, because there's definitely technical and kind of legal reasons as well. Can spam laws about having people be able to unsubscribe. You don't get any statistics on it. So a lot of reasons you shouldn't be using that as your main way to send campaign emails, right? Not using automation. So it does speed things up. If you can do welcome series. I'll talk about the automations down the line as well. Not looking at statistics. That's across the board, whether it's your email statistics, social media, what's happening on your website. You need to look under the hood to see, is any of this working? Am I doing anything with this? Or are we just doing this as a hobby? Right? I'm sure most of us here want to earn some coin. So we need to make sure that that's working. So we keep earning some coin, right? Not segmenting. So if you have the ability, some of you are just starting out a list, you might have a few, if you could start out, like if you have something specific for different types of audiences, you might want to segment so you can hyper target the messaging if possible. And then thinking everybody can do email marketing. So given how important this is, and you'll see that based on that ROI you saw, you should understand that. Don't go off of your feelings about email marketing, like, oh, I hate receiving emails, so I'm not going to send it. There is strategy behind it, especially to get that ROI, when you're going to send emails, how often, what's the messaging, what are your call to actions, what they should visually look like. So because it's so important, you do want to have somebody who understands what they're doing with the email marketing, right? So those we won't make, hopefully, right? So as you can see here, email's not going anywhere. As of next year, we expect to have half the world's population on email. Crazy, 4.6 billion. And this is a quick one here. The average open rates for campaign promotional emails, about 20%. For open welcome emails, you'll see a lot higher. I'm going to show you some other examples of open rates, click rates, conversions on that in addition to those. So I'll be a little bit more detailed. And there we go. So who's on email? Everybody. And I realized I teach this class all the time, and in one of the slide presentations, I actually had a comparison against social media. But I'll tell you. So email across the board, as you see here, in all age groups are pretty equal. It drops tiny bit, that's 65 plus. In comparison to social media, it spikes in that 25 to 44, but the first three groups, a little bit about equal, dramatically drops off at 65 plus. So if your market is 65 plus, you probably reach them more at email more than you're going to reach them via social media. So you'll see that dramatic drop off in comparison. So across the board, as you can see here, it just goes up a teeny bit in that 25 to 44 range, but this is where you're going to find we're all kind of created equal on our email habits here. First thing that we mostly check, the first check of the day versus social media or news, search, things like that. So we are actively looking at our emails. I'm just looking here, hold on. There we go. Okay. And just a few little stats here. So millennials and Gen Xers, that's going to be I think what are they, 29 to 44 now, and then 45 to 59 is Gen X, or actually it's higher than that now, are generally email more than any other generation. 99% of users check their inbox every single day. So we are looking at that. This is an interesting one. 56% of people are more likely to open an email if the subject line contains emojis compared to text only. That could be an A/B testing thing. I don't know if anybody uses emojis in their subject line, but you could test that out and try it with and without. 42% of individuals will look at the sender of the email before deciding to open it or not. So it's important what you put as the from. And somebody asked if I can enlarge the slides. I have it totally wide open on the largest side. So I don't know if that was something on your ends. But you'll get these slides as well. So that's why I'm kind of reading them. 60% of consumers reported they have made a purchase as a result of promotional email, right? 87% of brands that say email is important to their business success, right? Let's see. Someone just looking at the chat here. Can you please enlarge the slide? Exactly. Try to type this as in the other space earlier, but it only has questions showing. I'm not sure what that means. If Q&A, I'm not following that on what you're trying to do, but if you want to share that in the chat as well, and just look at a couple of questions. I will talk about DMARC, SPF later when we talk about spam and things like, and why it's important to authenticate your email and all that. And then we'll talk about how you can obtain emails. So hold those thoughts. You guys always are way ahead of me here on the questions, which is okay. I like that. So very important here. 61% of consumers say they'd like to receive promotional emails from their favorite brands on a weekly basis. This is a couple years back, but it hasn't changed. I actually updated it. It was a little bit lower. It's, about the same now. But on a weekly basis, folks, that's what I want to drive home here. They do want to hear from you more than you think they want to hear from you. Okay, I'll show another slide on comparing monthly, weekly, quarterly, annually, etc. If you have an e-commerce shop where you're selling stuff, if you're using the abandoned cart feature, sending 3 abandoned cart email results in 70% more orders than a single email. So again, those numbers haven't changed dramatically. That's why the dates are old. So going back to the open rates, click rates, these are the things that you're looking at when you're looking at email marketing stats, right? So you're going to look at, are they opening my email? Are they clicking on anything? Are they going anywhere with it? And then converting. Now, some of us might be able to track conversion more than others on that, different ways to do that. So on the open rates, right? So generally when we're looking at these different types of emails, campaign is like your one-off promotional emails, right? That you send out. That could be educational as well, but just basically a single email campaign versus sending out abandoned carts or birthday your shipping confirmation, order confirmations. You can see as you move up, you get higher open rates for things like that. The smaller list you have too, it might, you know, and the more people that open, it might get higher conversion rates overall. And they could be deceptive because you have to look at unique open rates, because what will happen is kind of drive-by open rates. So if you have your preview pane open, say on your desktop, and I'm just scrolling up and down, it could show that I opened up the email 50 times, and I'm like, no, I just keep scrolling up and down, and it kind of opens it, right? So you want to look at unique open rates, but generally 20-ish% on average. If you get much higher than that, great. But that's about the industry, and that's been that for many years, industry average about for the campaigns. And you can see as it goes up, you know, people are going to open up their shipping confirmations or order confirmations. People love getting birthday messages as well. So you'll see those numbers spike up. And one thing to watch for, that little message I have about Apple Mail. I had this problem or thing come up recently, so it alerted me. So Apple Mail, with their latest iOS release, decided to start blocking the tracking pixels that measure the open rates. So anybody who's on the iOS 15, their opens might be invisible to you. So you could have higher open rates. I was alerted to it because I send emails out weekly. If you're on my list, yeah, like almost every other day. So I'm quite prolific with emails. And I've been with Constant Contact for many years, and I've had a pretty steady average open rate, about 30% with my list. I have a big list. But early April, just after the next week after sending email, dropped dramatically down to 20%. I'm like, well, what happened? You know, nothing else, no other factors changed. So I talked to Constant Contact, and they say if people are downloading this new iOS 15, then it start blocking the tracking pixel. So if you know, if you're sending out email and you notice a dramatic drop, now click rates, I said, well, okay, that's open because that makes it invisible. But if they click on something, that can obviously still be tracked. So I didn't notice a dramatic equal drop in click rates across the board. So I'm kind of still watching that. It's still 20, maybe 23, 24%. So, you know, I'm like hoping that's like the click rate stay static. It just might be I have more open rates than I think. So the number will be a little deceptive because of that, which is unfortunate. After all these years of being able to track it, Apple decided to block that ability to track those open rates. So conversion rate is mean they did an action, right? So they bought something or whatever the goal is. Now it'll be easier if you have a cart, right? You can go from start to finish. They put it in their cart, they buy it. And if you have your email connected to your shopping cart, you can easily track orders, or even through Google, you can set goals, right, for shopping cart, whether it's like, hey, they're going and filling out a form on your website to download something, whatever that action is. So you can see here, it still is the best ROI in conversion. You might have to manually, you know, track conversion. So example, I worked for a credit union. I was their email marketing manager up in the Bay Area, and we would send out emails in the marketing department on, hey, we have an auto refi going on, like anything we wanted to get a share wallet, right? Hey, get our mortgage raised. Oh, here you're approved for a credit card. So if they did say the auto refi promotion that we had, they could go to one of the 23 branches. We didn't have, you could go and kind of start the loan application online. You could call the branch, but there was no shopping cart, right, to buy a loan or get the auto refi. So we would send out the email campaigns, and then we kind of watch for a week and see like what did the numbers look like for the auto refis. Now we'd kind of like take some credit because people could still walk into the branch, and the branch people could say, hey, why don't you do an auto refi? But we could see the spike in numbers, so we could at least try to get some conversion on that. So you have to kind of figure that out. What does it look like? Did they sign up for your event, but you didn't have your event signups attached to your, say, a shopping cart? But figure out what that is. You want to know if it's working or not, right? So important to track the numbers, right? Let me just look. I'm going to look for some questions here before I continue. Let's see. Let's see, what is a big list? Does email marketing work with B2B, B2C too? Yeah. I mean, yeah, a big list can be a million, 50,000, 5,000, 500. Just depends on who you are. So I wouldn't say big. I mean, you want, emails, but you also want them to do something. So having a big list, if they're not, if you're still just getting the same kind of conversion rate, you have a better chance the more you have, but you do have a quality list as well is what's important. So let's see, I'm just starting out. I'm using ConvertKit, which is no charge for 1,000 emails. I think what no charge NC is. I'm nowhere near that, and it goes to a paid plan above it. What are your thoughts on it? Yeah, ConvertKit is popular. I'll talk about the different email platforms next, so I'll follow up with that question there. So back to the slide. So emails with personalized subject line generate 50% higher open rates, and that number hasn't changed. You see older dates here, but I do look for newer numbers, and they haven't changed. So a subject line that says, "Hey, Patty, check this out," versus, "Hey, check this out," and hopefully it'll be a better subject line than that. Definitely works better because we like to see our name. We like the sound of our name. It looks more familiar, right? So if you should be collecting the name as well, so you can potentially put that merge tag on the subject line. Video content, definitely across the board, social media, email, people love email or video content. So you can see here, it does get quite a bit of attention on there. So this is an interesting stat. Explain it a little bit when it comes to social media, right? So especially Facebook, right? So when we send out emails, they generally 90+% get delivered to the recipient's box. You'll see delivery rates generally in the 90+%. And the 10% will be bounces, or there's some technical IP technical issue, relay, whatever that's blocking it, but generally about 90+% are in their box. So they're there ready to read. Whether they open it or not and read it is another story. But when it compares to social media, and this is why you should really pay attention to email marketing, is Facebook, right? Their organic reach has been about 1 to 3% for many years. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is when Facebook started out about 21 years ago, it was just your friends. And then everybody saw everybody's content chronologically, what your friends ate for dinner and how cute their dogs are, etc. But then as Facebook grew, added Facebook pages, added groups, added advertising. Now we have exponentially a ton more content to sort through. And they couldn't possibly show us all of the content that all of our friends post, our pages post, our groups post. So Facebook's like, well, we're going to have to throttle back that content and only show what's most relevant to you. So the only way they can say, well, what does Patty like the most is what I engage with. I have to click on something in order for them to register that, right? So I have to comment, like, share, right? When I'm scanning through my Facebook. If we don't, it will start dropping off. That's why it kind of appears you only have 10 friends that post on a regular basis, even though you might have 1,000 friends, because those are the ones you most interact with, pages you most interact with. So if you're just scrolling through and you're like, oh, my friend Joe posts up cute cat videos, but you never react to them, he might drop off and you're not going to see his cute cat videos anymore. So something to think about, in comparison to email, they're getting in the inbox, right? Just have to, hopefully get them to open it, right? And they want to receive promotional emails more than they want to receive promotions via social media. So if you're spending more time on social media and ignoring email, kind of, I'd say flip the script and start getting your email off the ground. Don't stop social media, do both, but really start, if you have a list and you're like, yeah, I have it, but I haven't really done anything with it. Will you do it now, right? Hopefully you're starting to get convinced that it's important, okay? And it's generally where they want to hear from you the most is about products and services is email, in comparison to, say, direct mail, in-person, phone, etc. Social media is still there, but the conversion's better on email marketing, right? And then going back to how often they want to hear from you, right? That's 61%, at least weekly, at least monthly, the 85%, quarterly and annually, you could see here. So those are like, quarterly newsletters enough. I'm doing my email thing, right? I think you want to pump up the volume a little bit, as you can see here, right? There we go. So the email platforms, right? Where do you go? How do you choose? Some of you already have email platforms. I think you shared, and scroll back and see, you shared which one you're using. MailChimp. MailChimp and Constant Contact have been popular for years. Constant Contact's been around since, I think, 1995. I think one of the first ones I used way back in the day, vertical response, Constant Contact. MailChimp became popular because they had a free account that was like under 2,000 subscribers. It's free. It included everything. I think when Intuit bought it a few years back, they kind of started stripping down the free version because they realized a lot of small businesses weren't growing beyond the 2,000 and weren't paying. So they took away A/B testing and automation. And now I think you can send 500 emails per month. So if you have a list of 500, you can send one email per month, which is definitely not enough. So a lot of people ended up on MailChimp because of that. But and this is just a small example. These aren't like the top ones. I remain software agnostic, so don't ask me which one is the best one, because I'm not going to tell you, right? I've used quite a few of them on this list. I think almost all of these on this list, except maybe, let's just one here, iContact, Aweber I haven't used, but the others I've touched before, Klaviyo and ActiveCampaign, et cetera, SendGrid, but I won't say like which one's the best one, because it's going to be different. Some of you have CRMs. I saw somebody mention Kajabi. I use Kajabi for my websites. I don't use their email system. I use Constant Contact. Nothing wrong with it. Some of you might have, someone's mentioned Zoho. You might also use Squarespace, or if your site, you're on, oh my God, I'm blanking out, Shopify, have their own internal systems. Those work as well. So I'm just kind of talking about the external, say, platforms out there. And of course, stuff like Shopify, you can connect them to some of these on the list as well. So there's a ton out there. So how do you choose, right? It might be easy for you to choose like, well, I'm on Shopify, I'll just use a Shopify, or I have Kajabi and it's included, why pay more? So there are going to be some more specific reasons why you do. But when you're picking one, is it easy to use? Right, for you, of course, you're not going to sit there and try 10 different platforms to see which one's easier, but as long as you understand how to use it, maybe they can help you with that, get demo or help from them to figure it out. I always say, to me, they're kind of apples to apples. They all pretty much do the same function, and once I try one, I can probably figure out another one. So you definitely want something that's easy for you to use. I wouldn't necessarily go off of cost, right? I know I'm going to jump on this soapbox for a second here. I understand, as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, we're starting out with limited budgets. We love free, right? Free and low cost. But sometimes we have to step back and think. We tend to chase free at the detriment of time and money. Right. So we're like, I want to avoid having to pay for email. So I'm going to keep jumping to the free versions, and it doesn't really give you all the features you want, but hey, it's free. So you're missing out on being able to A/B test because they don't include that on the free version. Knowing how important this tool is, right, and the ROI on that, this is where you're not going to want to skimp. Like I said, it will cost you time and money to work around free. Canva, tools that you're going to use all the time. Canva, there's a free version, but it's definitely very limited. If you're using AI, ChatGPT, $20. So these tools generally under $100 a month total. 20 here for ChatGPT, 10, 15 for Canva. Email is going to vary depending on the list, maybe $50 a month for some of you, maybe more depending on the size. I pay like a couple $100. I have a big list. But this is where you don't want to skimp. You want to make sure you have all of the tools within it that you want. You don't want to move around. You don't want to keep jumping from platform to platform. Once you have your list, kind of seasoned in your and the IP relay and all that stuff, all the technical stuff set, you don't want to keep jumping where you have to kind of re-season your list, so to speak. So you want to check if they offer automation features that work for you, how sophisticated they are. Do they offer additional features like spam testing, platform testing, et cetera, that would be important? Do they offer customer support? I know people loved Constant Contact when it was, just a few. There's a lot more out there because MailChimp didn't offer it. The only thing you could do on a paid version is chat with them. You couldn't get a live, I think they offer the live option now by appointment, but constant contact, you could pick up the phone and they can help you. But again, don't chase the free, put that in your budget, your marketing budget are these tools that are going to help you get your marketing done. And again, sometimes a free version works, but a lot of, they have to make money. So they're going to start stripping away all those features that you need. So like I said, don't chase the free. And it might be some of them like Klaviyo, they have text marketing. So if you're doing, and I know others do as well, if text marketing is important, you might want to jump on one that has that, even if you're not using it right now. So, they're all kind of, like I said, pricing wise, fairly similar, but like I said, the free versions are starting to get really whittled down to like, yeah, you can have the car. Oh, you want to roll down the windows? Okay, that's going to be extra. You want the car to go? Oh, okay, we'll give you a steering wheel, right? We don't want a car that just sits there, right? So anyone else, someone talking in the background of the audio? No, just me. The only thing you might hear is my pugs snoring. So I don't know if they're not talking though. If they did, I would not be here. I would be on the road with my talking pugs. Okay, so these are my email marketing basics. Let me just see if I can answer some questions before we go on here. When an email gets blacklisted, is it because of the sending email address or the sending email server or platform? I'll talk about that in a minute, Kenny, or a few minutes. I'm going to talk about the spam and blacklisting and all that kind of stuff and buying lists and all. So I'll hold that thought. Let's see, and I think I answered most of these questions, or they're coming up. So hold those thoughts. Let me see if there's anything in the chat. I think keep putting your questions in the Q&A if you have any of them. Let's see, I don't know about the whining noise in the background. Is it whining or is it snoring? So sometimes one of the pugs sounds like she's letting out, when you squeeze a balloon that has helium, that might be the sound. So fortunately, they're passed out. Better than barking. So first thing, collect. The first C, always be collecting, as I mentioned. There's going to be different ways to collect for all of you, right? You should have a website sign up form. You might attend events or have events where you get signups. You do event ticketing, social media. You can do lead magnets, contests, networking. If you're out there networking or here, share, and you get that information, make sure you ask permission. Don't just add them to the list from the business card. You could say, hey, I met you at the mixer. Hey, I have a great newsletter about X, Y, and Z. Would you want to join it? Ask that permission first with that, especially with people you meet in person. In store, if you have a storefront, make sure there's an easy way to have them sign up, POS system, or even just putting a sheet of paper on the counter saying email list, but always collect, right? So the first obvious place should be your website. So everybody in the room, all 105 of you in the room, if you have a website, do you have an email sign up form on there? Does it work? Is it an obvious place? Can they find it? I say here, the best practice, now this will depend on the architecture of your website, is the upper right-hand corner. And the reason for that is our eyes track on our websites on a Z formation, right? So the first place we're going to go is the upper left, which typically is where your logo is. Sometimes it's in the middle. And then we track to the upper right. So the second best place, diagonally across the lower left and lower right. So if you can, your site architecture allows it, upper right on all the pages. If not, at minimum, somewhere as close to the top as you can on every single page, not just your home page, right? If it's at the bottom, at least it works. Make sure it works. Make sure it's going somewhere and you know where it's going. You don't know how many business owners I've talked to. Like I go, yeah, you have an email sign up form on there. What size lists you have? I don't know. I don't even know where to find them. That's not good. Right? That's gold. $40 return on investment, and you don't know where those emails are, right? Not funny. You can do a mail pop-up, right? Or we call a mail gate. So that could be, the first way you get them on here. So this particular winery I worked with years ago, they had, go a slide ahead. So they had the embedded form, the MailChimp on the bottom of every page. They couldn't, do the top page, but it was on there and they would get signups. So it was working. Well, I said, let's just add a mail gate. So we did the mail pop up. This one we didn't put the name, but we did add that. And I watched this for a few months, and I was like, I was thinking that it would be more mail pop-ups that signed up, because MailChimp will tell you how they signed up. But what's interesting is their numbers doubled, but it was equal. It's about 50% embedded and 50% of the mail pop-up. So it definitely worked. So you definitely want to have where you can get it, right? And with the pop-ups, maybe you do an incentive. In that case of the winery, we didn't, and we just like, hey, sign up, and it still worked. But maybe you offer free shipping or a discount if you have that ability to do that for your site, or just do it without it and see what happens. We all have seen those and probably use those. You can do lead magnets. So has anybody here ever done lead magnets? Say, raise your hand or say yes in chat. And if you have, then tell what kind of lead magnet did you do? Yes, I do. Yes, California Wine Marketing. That's my other business for the wineries I work with, but it's the same as my Golden State Marketing. So no lead magnets? Nobody here ever do one? Yes, I have sets of online flashcards through Quizlet. Oh, perfect. What's the subject, Celine? What's your business? I'm curious about that. I'm going to tell you what a lead magnet is, Kim. So hold that question. Let's see. So Celine, let's see. I just want to see. About to do one. Oh, music theory workbooks. Perfect. All right. So yeah, and everyone should be muted. There's nobody that's off mute. So if you hear anything, it's only coming from me. So just want to make sure everybody knows. And we're not a meeting format where everybody's on mute. So a lead magnet is exactly this. You have something of value to give, and they have something of value, hopefully their email address, and you exchange that. So in this example here, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, they had a free customer experience e-cookbook, and you just have to give us this information, and then you can download the cookbook. And like Celine was offering, there's one here too. Gina did an ebook, PR tool finder, perfect. And then a music theory, online flashcards for her music theory classes. So that's, if you have something of value to give that's related to your business. So I did one years ago for this, somebody who wrote a book for women's financial planning book, Women, Wealth, and Wisdom. And they had additional white papers that weren't included in the book, but they were, still under the financial arena. So we turned the white papers into lead magnets and then had them sign up, put those on social media, had a landing page via MailChimp, had them sign up. And then as soon as they sign up, they're able to either download or they can send the download via email. So that's basically what a lead magnet is, right? So you can create lead magnets, and here's an example, and you can use the robot. If you don't have any, and you're like, I don't have time to write lead magnets, go to ChatGPT, and you can do this on the paid or the free version. So this one, for example, is one of my coaching clients. He's she, this is a different client, business mindset coach to appeal to burned out corporate executives on how to have work-life balance for them and employees they manage, etc. So we're like, here we go. 10 proven strategies to overcome burnout and achieve work-life balance. Right? One-on-one strategy session, limited time offer, that a little bit to 30-minute consultation, ultimate guide to employee retention. So if a company is having issues or a person's having issues with this with their company and their employees, these would be valuable lead magnets, hopefully attract them. And then once you have their email, you can nurture those emails and tell them all about your services, right? Help them out. Here's some, do we have any wineries in the room? Raise your hand. Yes, and say yes in chat. I don't know if we usually have. Oh, there we go. Okay, we have one. So you could do lead magnets as well, right? So here we just asked, said, hey, winery to appeal to wine enthusiasts who are either well-educated or new to drinking wine. So you can do both. So we have the ultimate wine pairing guide, wine tasting 101, a beginner's guide, wine and dine recipe collection. So everybody has some content of value, most likely, that's helpful to them, that would prompt them to want to download it or get it from email for us. That's basically what a lead magnet is. So yeah, thank you for the ones that shared that do lead magnets. It's good to see that you're doing it. How do you determine what may be of value to prospective clients? So, hopefully Paige, with these examples, right? So if we're trying to get them to buy our wine or come to the tasting room, if you have it, and taste the wine to then buy it, so here, Vineyard Travel Planner. Oh, I want to come travel to that, say, Sonoma, Napa, Virginia, wherever you are. Wine trivia quiz might be a beginner's guide on wine tasting. People like wine pairing, the other one with the burnout and work-life balance. So I do marketing tips, as well. So you're trying to entice them into, if they have a say, I want to say a pain point, not that wine is a pain point, but if they have something that's of interest to them, whether it is a pain point, like, hey, I need to achieve work-life balance, or my pain point is I need to know all about traveling there, or I don't know anything about wine tasting. Here's a beginner's guide, so I look smart when I go wine tasting. Then that would be what of importance. So something related to your business that would you think that would entice them to purchase. Try different lead magnets out. You're not stuck with just one. See what works. If you have a really good one and that's all you use, great. But you might have a need or a want. Exactly. Thank you, Kim. Try them out and see what works. It's going to be, potentially different for each one. So good question. Let's see. Yeah, Denise, I don't know. You're not even using, let me do this real quick. I'm going to stop sharing and then I'm going to reshare the slides because I have these wide open on the largest thing, but I'm just in case something went weird with PowerPoint. So hold that thought 1 second. And I'm going to unshare and then sometimes, because yeah, this is the first time somebody said it's too small. Hold on 1 sec. Okay. So now make sure I reshare from here. Since a couple of you have said that, I thought maybe it's on your end. Okay, so let's go back to slide. Oops. And presenter view. There we go. Okay, so now I have it popped open. Has that improved at all? I hope. Is everybody seeing it tiny? So is that better? Okay, those slides are normal size. Does normal mean good? Great. Okay, so perfect. Is that better? Did anything change or is it the same for most people? Bigger. Okay, perfect. So sorry about that. So same but good. Okay. Everybody's screens are different. That happens. Sorry about that. Okay, so that's lead magnets. Hopefully you got that. So text marketing. Is anybody here using text marketing or SMS marketing? Yeah, raise your hand or say yes in chat. And you can see, remember, a couple of you. So curious, if you want to share, has that been successful for you? If you're doing email marketing as well. So you can see the difference. Remember the return on investment, $10, $11 versus the $40. Not saying do one or the other or not do text marketing. If it's working for you, great. Hold on 1 second. I just want to drop off this captions real quick. There we go. But there are different uses. Text marketing, you can see here, going to be limited product offers and discounts, maybe appointment reminders, which isn't really sales, but your doctors, your dentists, your salons, they use appointment text reminders now. Urgent updates and notifications, personal alerts, purchase confirmations, delivery confirmations get via text these days. Information that may require two-way communication. So my examples I've used is mostly hotels have used this. So I've stayed at a couple hotels in this year and last year where on the front end, I get a text saying, hey, you're, joining us Friday. You're going to be checking in. Is there anything that you need when you get here? So I can respond back, yeah, I want some extra pillows and a couple extra bathrobes in the room. Or on the back end of it, like, hey, today's your checkout day. Do you need anything? Do you need us to bring a card up? And then I can respond back. So that would be what we consider two-way communication. Email marketing is going to be obviously more longer form, your newsletters, educational content, visual product announcements, could be B2B, technical information, press releases, perhaps, so definitely more different uses, of course, but oops, I'm backwards there. But just as important and let's see, Justice Department requires text as well. I think the 40, yes, correct. So $40 ROI for every dollar versus about $10, $11 for text marketing. You're correct. Somebody asked, are QR codes good for collecting? Yes, depending on where the QR codes are, right? I mean, don't put a QR code on your social media or your email because a lot of people are looking at their phone. right? But if you have a, you know, a brochure or something that has a QR code on it and have them scan it. I have a QR code at the end of this. So if it's something they can point their camera at, you know, sure, have it go to a landing page that will collect their email information. Where it's amazing that we use QR codes now. Before the pandemic, where QR codes kind of went by way of the dodo bird almost. Now we can't live without them. Is ROI increasing doing both together? Interesting. Potentially. So an example of it's almost like you could say it was like an abandoned, yeah, it was actually, I think it was an abandoned cart situation. So I was shopping, company that had purchased shoes. It was a shoe company. I think it was a Facebook ad. And I went all the way to the checkout. I logged in, right? And I like almost about to purchase, and I'm like, no, I don't need the shoes. And then I get an email from the company like, did you forget something in the cart? And then they texted me, you know, so they did a couple emails, they texted me, and then they gave up. So in that case, it was an abandoned cart. Now, it could have worked where it's like, I did see the emails, but maybe I would have missed them. But then I get the chat now, the phone, I look at the phone all the time. So then I would see the email. So potentially could overall increase the ROI if you're hitting them up with that secondary. But a lot of people, this is one texting can be controversial in a way. Not that texting is controversial, but in comparison to emails, more people will opt out of your text messages than your emails because it's more invasive, right? Because our phones are in our hands probably 24/7, and every time we hear that ding, we grab our phone. So if you're texting a lot, then we might start tuning out and turn it off. I will turn off text faster than I will unsubscribe from emails, even if you send me a daily email. If I get a daily text from you, it's over. That's just me, but a lot of people don't like it. Email's more passive, unless I turn my email notification on my phone, which would be crazy because I get a lot more emails than texts. You know, I can go passively look at that. I'm not hearing ding, 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 ding all the time, right? So it could be a little tricky. So for those of you that text, I don't know if you see a drop off on that or how frequently you send it. But if you're using it, you know, sparingly, you know, on the text side of it, not, you know, sending texts every day, then, you know, unless it's something that like, hey, it's a special of the day at the restaurant. And then people will be like, oh, I want to know what the special of the day is. That might be a little bit different. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me go back here. So create, this is most important, right? It's all marketing is all about content. All right. So we constantly need a steady flow of content for everything. Our email, right? Going back to the owned media, your website needs content. You have blogs potentially, you have emails, you have social media, right? So when it comes to email, a lot of the same content you do on social media. You don't want to make it all about sales, right? We do want to make money, but you do want to be helpful. So, you know, like the wineries can do recipes, food and wine pairings. Anybody has food that maybe can do that. Interviews, perhaps, you're talking about B2B, FAQs about your company, case studies, company milestones, maybe behind the scenes, if you have interesting behind the scenes stuff going on. Mine would be pretty boring, sitting here watching me type on my computer or talk during a webinar. Weekly tips, you know, maybe studies or stats, you know, so you want to stay top of mind and be interesting, but not just hit them up all the time. You know, it's okay to do that, but you don't want to do it all the time. So content, right? We need that content. So this is what's called content journey mapping. This isn't going to be everybody's journey map. This is just a visual. You can literally sit here and do this journey map. There's no template for this. You can just make squares and, you know, put it on a napkin if you want. But I just wanted you to see this visually because we tend to look at our content as silos, right? Like, oh, I got to do a blog post over here, and oh, another email, and then maybe a social. I should do a video. But you can take your content and send it on a journey, right? And create different recycle, reuse, right? So we can start off, this is an example. Somebody took a blog post, turned it into 31, 33 extra pieces of content. So you take that blog post, put it in an email, maybe do some YouTube videos on it. Then you share it to your social media that you do. Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, etc. So what is your world? What does your journey, your content world look like? Not all of us are on all of these platforms. Maybe you could take a blog post and turn it into a video. Maybe let's just say, for example, you have a pet related business and you're going to say the top 5 natural treats to help dogs with skin allergies, and maybe turn that into maybe 5 different individual videos on the different, treats for dogs, or make one video out of it and then turn those into social media posts. So visualize your content going on this journey in some way. Thank you, Sally. And what does that look like for you as you're building your content, right? So this will be for social media as well as email. So setting up your different types of content types and your content pillars. When usually we're talking about content pillars when it comes to social media. So anybody use content pillars or know what their content pillars are when it comes to social media? Raise your hand, say us in chat, or like, what the heck is a content pillar? Right? Hopefully you'll understand it now once we talk about it. But when we're talking about content, like I said, social media, email, blogging, you're basically looking at, you want to cover like 4 different content types, right? We're probably all really good at promotional, right? Here's my product, here's my service, here's my product, here's my service, right? But that should be just about 10% of your content overall, especially on social media. You want to include inspirational content, right? Success stories, motivational quotes, testimonials, behind the scenes fall under that. Educational, that can be a wide swath of content right there. How-to guides, FAQs, industry insights, whatever that educational means for your business. Interactive content, quizzes, polls, contests, user-generated, Q&A. Again, some might fall into the social media. And then under that, once you have these 4 content types, you create content pillars. And as it says here, they're basically key topics or themes that your content's going to revolve around, right? That create that consistency. So think of like the Parthenon in Athens, Greece, with the marble columns holding up the pillars, holding up what's left of the top of the Parthenon. Right. So what can be the foundational content that you can use on a regular basis? Right. So I'll show you some examples. Right. So there's a lot here. And again, you can use ChatGPT to help you with content pillars. So this is my other client. I was mistaken with the work-life balance. So he focuses on company culture, leadership building skills, employee retention, things like that. So in general, you're going to pick about 4 main content pillars. It could be more, but generally focus on 4. The others can be kind of sub pillars. The ones that, you don't have content on a regular basis, but maybe once in a while, we can toss those pillars, sub pillars in. So he could choose, and then going off of those 4 buckets, right? The educational, promotional, inspirational. So he might pick leadership development, skill development and training, team building, and company updates. But he doesn't have a lot of testimonials, so maybe he throws that in once a month, right? So the wineries for here, so you could pick, you have promotional offers. You can do wine education. That can mean a lot of different things. Maybe pairings and recipes, and let's see, vineyard life maybe, but maybe sustainability practices. You don't have a lot to say about that on a regular basis, so that's kind of a sub pillar. Right. And then, the rest can be if, as you toss them in, but stick to those 4 that you can every week, you can post up social media on that, and it helps fill your calendar. And then again, they can be reused for email as well. Okay. And then here's some more skincare brand, right? So you're going to do skincare education, product spotlights. I don't think I have one on here that's like promotional. Maybe behind the scenes and skincare routines will be there for, and the rest can be kind of added in. Travel agency. So they have travel deals and promotion. Maybe we have local culture and traditions, travel tips and advice, destination spotlights, and then the rest we kind of throw in there as sub pillars. And finally, nonprofit. Any nonprofits here, right? You probably, whatever your cause, whoever you're impacting or benefiting, probably the same content pillars, right? You're going to share the impact stories. You're going to share volunteer or donor spotlight or highlights. Maybe events and fundraising, got to ask for money, right? Show me the money, right? So whatever those 4, that you have, and then kind of throw in the other ones as well. Okay. So it makes sense. Content pillars make sense, hopefully, for everybody. And again, email, social. So I'm going to go a little sideways here for the B2B people in the room. They're like, why does she have social media in her email presentation? So who's B2B here in the room? Raise your hand. Everybody raise your hand. Say hallelujah. Yes, in chat. We have some B2B folks here. Let's see. All right. We got quite a few people here. So why are we talking about LinkedIn? There is a feature, yeah, something like that. However want to spell hallelujah is fine. Why are we talking about this? So there is a feature that's kind of email-like. Okay. So anybody in the B2B space familiar with especially newsletters, articles and newsletters? Anybody here doing it? Say yes in chat. Yes, you're doing a newsletter. And sorry, I'm trying to get back over to the chat. So does anybody know about? Yes. Okay. B2B. Yay. So this is a feature a lot of people don't know about. So if you've never heard of it, it's okay, because it's kind of a feature that's not obvious, but you can do articles or newsletters, preferably newsletters. Now, in the context of things, when we hear the word newsletter, we think email. Like, here's a newsletter with all the different things going on in my business and, all the different stuff you want to talk about. But you want to look at these as like a blog. You can kind of use it as a newsletter with various subjects, but they're typically a blog. They just are calling them something different. And articles and newsletters are the same thing on LinkedIn. It's where they appear is the magic sauce and how it relates to email. So if anybody can do an article, right? On LinkedIn, we have both a profile and potentially a company page, right? The profile is us, and that's where we have connections. And then if you have a company page, that's where people follow you on your company page. You can create articles on either one or both. Okay. Newsletters, that's a special one. Okay. You can do these from your profile or your page, but you must have over 150 followers in order to do a newsletter. Okay. So if you have over 150 connections on your profile, send a newsletter under that. If you don't have a company page, get a company page going. If you have over 150 followers, or if you don't have 150, still do an article and then work your way up to that, and then do it as a newsletter, because it's very important that you do it as a newsletter because of this feature, right? So it is a blog. Doesn't matter what it's called here. It still is a blog, single topic. So what I do for my B2B business and marketing, right? I start the blog. I post it on my website. Come over here. I post my newsletter edition, it's called. I have both for my company page and my profile, right? I'll email out my blog as well to my list, and also do social media posts for the other platforms that it's not LinkedIn. But LinkedIn, very important. So you want to do a newsletter. Okay. If you don't have 150 connections or followers, share your LinkedIn information in the chat, follow each other, connect with each other. Should do that anyways, network, get to know each other. Never know who's in the room, could be a customer. So the important part of this is where it shows up. Articles, when you publish an article, it's going to show up in the news feed, just like social media posts, which is okay. Your connections or your followers may see it if they're checking out their news feed. But newsletters show up in the notifications box. So I call it the inbox. So that's why I say it's email-like, because people can subscribe, your connections or followers can subscribe to it. So you can see here, new from Kalika Yap, and she calls her newsletter Kalika Yap newsletter. And the edition of the newsletter is called The Thief of Joy. So her blog article is called The Thief of Joy. So very powerful, because, and then I've already subscribed to Kalika's email or newsletter. But if it was the first time I'm seeing it, there'd be a subscribe button onto the right side. So the first time you publish a newsletter edition, your connections or followers will see a subscribe button and they can subscribe. So it appears just like an email, right? So you could pretend, you don't obviously have their email addresses here, but you can pretend it's kind of like an email inbox, because it's like what the first thing we do when we log into LinkedIn. We look for all those little red dots at the top. Oh, let me check my notifications, my messages, who wants to connect with me, right? So just like we go and check our inbox and look at our emails. Now, it's not guaranteed every time that Kalika posts a newsletter that I'm going to read it, but it's still there in my notifications. I might not see that she posted in her news feed because I don't go through my news feed every day all the time. So I might miss that. Right. So, and then this number is lower. I think I'm almost I think I'm at 975 subscribers now. And I've posted, I think I'm at 9 editions. This was an older one, 8 or 9 editions of my newsletter over 5 months, I think. So every subscriber, or every time I post up an edition, publish an edition, people can subscribe. I encourage people to subscribe via my emails. I put, hey, sign up for my LinkedIn newsletter. So the list has grown. Now I've deepened my connection to almost 1,000 people, because now they see my content in their quote unquote inbox, notification box, just as if I would have emailed them if I happen to have their email, right? So you see how that relates to email now and how important that is. So send out newsletters. This is so important. I have my coaching clients, I walk them through this, and now I'm getting a ton of newsletters, subscription signups. So I'm proud to see that happening. So a lot more people are using this feature. So get over that 150. If you don't have the 150 in connections, you can send from both your profile and your page. I usually will separate them out by a couple days, even though I'd have maybe different subscribers on both of them, or all 3 of them actually. I do a separate one for California wine marketing. So you can see how that, just understand how it kind of acts like email leads on here. So important to do it for the B2B folks, okay? And then you can actually look and see who subscribe. And then this was a quick snapshot. You can see I have first, second, and third connections who are following or subscribed to my newsletter. First ones are we're directly connected, right? Seconds are we're not directly connected, but we have mutual connections. And third is like, no, we're not connected in any way. We don't know anybody who's connected. So I can, I'll go through there and I'll connect to the second and thirds. And those are most likely like people who are just coming in from my email that I send out, and maybe just subscribing, but not connecting with me yet. So you can see, and it's interesting to see who hits that. These people hit that subscribe button on purpose. So it's kind of interesting to see that they want to see my content. So the more I'm going to publish a newsletter, the more these people are going to, be, deepening the relationship with me. Right. So hopefully that makes sense. Thanks for the sideways segue over to LinkedIn. If you have any questions here before we continue on to this most important section. How many pages do you suggest for a newsletter? So Sally, if you're asking about the LinkedIn newsletter versus your email newsletter, the LinkedIn is just going to be usually one article, right? So the length of it is just the length of a blog article. You can put other stuff in there, like if you subscribe to my newsletter, I will put the blog article in there, and at the bottom I'll go, hey, sign up for a strategy session. Oh, join my marketing lab group. So I do a little bit of, say, advertising as well. But generally you want to keep it short. You don't want to have a long LinkedIn newsletter like maybe you would with your email. Even via email, it shouldn't be too long, right? So I don't know if that answered. If that didn't answer the question, let me know. Can you have a business profile and a personal profile? So how LinkedIn works is you have one profile, that's you, okay, your name, your job experience, your volunteer work, your all of that stuff, your kind of your personal resume. You can only have one of those. You can have then you have company pages that are managed by your profile. You can have multiple company pages, but you only can have one profile, okay, because we're only one person, right? We're not multiple people. I was just kind of going LinkedIn sideways here. I hear this all the time that say, well, I have like this other side business, but I'm over here working for Goldman Sachs. I'm a financial advisor, but I'm doing this business and I don't really want anybody to know. And can I have different different profiles not connected? And I'm like trying to do something on the down low. No. You're going to have to pick a lane. There's no way you shouldn't create an alias because people don't want to connect with aliases. So if you have 2 different worlds that you don't want to collide, it's a little hard on LinkedIn to do that. So just if that's your question about it, but isn't it your personal profile is you? If you set up a profile as a company, you really should turn that into a company page, not have that as a profile, because people connect with people. We can follow people, but generally connect with other people, build relationships with other people. We follow company pages. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, on the down low, like have encountered that quite a few times. Okay, can a B2C business utilize LinkedIn? Madeline, tricky. Yes. So some examples of that, I have some B2C customers that use it, or clients that use it. So say, for example, I have one that's, they do sweets, cookies, and they do B2C, but their focus on LinkedIn is corporate gifting. So the only thing they talk about is corporate gifting, not like, hey, come buy some, yeah, if I'm on LinkedIn, I see their package of cookies and I'm not really looking for corporate gifting, but I'm like, hey, those look yummy, I'm going to buy them. Sure. But it's all about that. You have to be very careful with it. So I had somebody who said, oh, well, I'm a hair salon and my target audience is professional women who are CEOs of companies. And she thought that, oh, posting on LinkedIn would be good because that would hit her target audience. But you can't really go on there and go, hey, look at the cutest hairstyles I've done, or before and after, because that's really more consumer driven than a product or service that's really for B2B. You're just targeting women. So you do have to be kind of careful. It depends on what your business is and how. So some of you might cross over or let's give another example. So I have a coaching client. He's a sound healer. So he does sound baths and that type of stuff. And he'll do it privately for people, and he does, public stuff. But now he's focusing more on corporate wellness. So in this case, he can kind of do both, but on LinkedIn, it's focusing on the employer, how it benefits the employer to help the employees relax, be more productive, alleviate stress in the workplace kind of thing. So in that case, that there could be some crossover. So hopefully that I'd have to talk to you more directly to find out what you do. Let's see. A few of my fellow digital marketing agencies are scraping for leads. Can we send people an email without their permission first? Or can we also give them an option to opt out? You're supposed to have them opt in rather than ask for forgiveness rather than permission. Yeah, sure, they can opt out. Best practice is always to get them to opt in. You could send an email like through your Apple or Outlook or whatever and say, hey, I have your email address. We have a great, newsletter or whatever information. You want to subscribe, and then you can maybe send them to a landing page to have them to subscribe to it. So yeah, best practice is always to get them to opt in first, at least for the canned spam rules as well. Before sending out a lead magnet, should you have a series or sequence of emails already created first? Probably, yeah. It would make sense to do that, right? So the goal is, kind of journey map it, right? Of like, okay, here's the lead magnet. Then we're going to send that out. Then what's going to be the next, like, hey, thank you for downloading that. Hey, here's some information about X, or hey, I have this great article about that. You're interested in this, whatever that lead magnet sequence is. You'd want to have that mapped out and then the automation set up for that to happen, unless you're going to do it all manually, but better to have an automation. Yeah. So I would think that out before and get it all done before you actually, send it out. Because then you don't have a plan. You're just like collecting those emails and then, not doing anything with them, and might lose them if you're like do it months later and they forget that they downloaded the thing, right? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to keep on going. So the next C, very important, is calendar. Is how do you get all this content done? How do you post on social media, on email, your blogs, right? Does that anybody get overwhelmed on that section? How do you manage it all? How do you figure out what to post on what days and what to email out, right? So hopefully this will help kind of smooth out some of that overwhelm for you. Plan ahead, use a calendar of some kind. It's already June. We're a few months away from the August. And I say, if you are Q4 driven, you need to have your Q4 holiday planning done by the end of August, not October, right? Not November. So the year has gone by quickly. So planning ahead is going to help. basically I break this down, and I know we're all overwhelmed, right? Trying to get it all done. I break this down into like 3 parts, right? So the first one is we're going to plan, right? We're going to have a calendar. We're going to, whatever the planning process is, to think ahead about all of our content we need to create. Then we have the creation part. That'll be your biggest part, right? Because you got to create the emails, you got to create the social media posts, write your blogs, do the videos, whatever that content is. And then scheduling it all out, right? So whether you're using social media schedulers, obviously email platforms, but you're going to need to block. If you're doing all this yourself, you're going to, somebody's talking about avocado toast. You're going to need to block this time on your calendar, right? Because I know busy business owners, we wear all the hats, right? And we have to get all the stuff done other than marketing. So if you're doing it all, I say honor that time in your calendar. Say, okay, every first of the month, whatever that day is, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm going to block my calendar, and that's going to be my planning time. And that might be a couple hours per month at the most. On the other end, scheduling, that could be, a couple hours a month as well, getting them posted, using scheduling tools, email marketing tools, etc. The creation, that's going to be different for all of you, right? How much time it is to create graphics, write the emails, create blogs, get it all, figured out, do videos, whatever that is. That could be a couple hours a week, that you do that. But if you start working ahead, not like, oh God, what day is it? I don't even know what day it is today. What is the day? The 6th. It's 6/6. I don't even know what's being posted up today because I already scheduled it out like 5 days ago at the beginning of the month. We work a month ahead. So when we're creating content for us or my clients, we'll have the content done by the middle of the month, because we have clients that want to pre-approve the content. So we'll give them, by the 15th or 20th at the latest, we'll say, here's your content on the calendar. Go look at it, approve it, ask for edits. We'll have some time to do some edits, have them review it again to approve it. Once they approve the content, then by the end of the month, we schedule it all out and it's done, right? Yeah, creation is probably the biggest challenge because it's a lot to do. But once you start planning it ahead, figuring out what you want to post about, email about, blog about, then that will start. It is still going to be a lot of work, folks. I'll tell you, I hear that all the time when I talk about all the things you need to do on LinkedIn and all this content you need to create. If you're going to do it yourself, it is a lot of work, right? And I know it's one of the many hats you wear. So I can do it for you if you want, but if you do it yourself, it's a lot of work. So, but start smoothing out the process by planning it ahead and thinking about what you're going to do rather than kind of fly by the seat of your pants. Like, oh my God, it's the 6th. I haven't posted since last week. What should I post? I don't know. Okay, never mind. We'll just wait till next week, right? Does that sound like some people's plan? Right. So it does take work. So you're all going to get to download my content calendar. I don't know if anybody's using it already. It is a Google Sheets document. I keep it simple. Don't use any fancy software. You can use whatever you want. If you don't like mine, it's okay. But you'll see, I'm going to show you all the pages and how to use it. And then you get to download it with all the other assets and try it out. Use whatever you like. Okay. So one of the tabs you're going to get is this is probably more for social media, hashtag days. So the days of the week, the daily hashtags like Mindful Monday and Taco Tuesday and Wellness Wednesday. So I'll show you how to use those on the calendar. Content pillars. So this is new for 2024. I put in the prompts. You can go to ChatGPT on the paid or the free version and put in that prompt I have there. Just insert your URL on the paid one and it will spit out some content pillars. If you like them, just paste them here so you have them here. So those are your content pillars. I left in these pages from the 2023 and back. They're kind of just additional content ideas. They're not sorted by content pillars or anything, but just to kind of prompt you with some ideas, as well as video. That's the 2023. And then each month you're going to find national holidays. So these are from nationaldaycalendar.com and calendar.com. And you can use these for social media. You can use them for email potentially as well. There might be some directly related to your business or just to prompt reaction or interaction engagement on social media. So maybe you have nothing to do with food or peanut butter and jelly, but if you ask people, hey, what was your favorite PB and J combo as a kid? You're getting legitimate engagement, right? People are going to comment like, I love peanut butter and boysenberry jelly sandwiches. You might have something directly related, like my transportation logistics client. There is National Logistics Day. If anybody wants to celebrate it, it's this month, June 26th, I think. Have a barbecue, whatever you want to do on National Logistics Day. National Barcode Day is this month as well. So have fun with these. And again, they can be used for social media and email. And for the wineries in the house, if you notice on the very top, on that empty column, it starts with wine. Any wine holidays, I have the word wine next to it, so they pop out. So that's for my California wine marketing side of things. So you could, for example, as wineries, for example, there's National Chardonnay Day. So if you sell Chardonnay, you can do a social media post like just, hey, happy Chardonnay Day. You can do an email. Hey, it's Chardonnay Day. We're going to do a 3-pack special on Chardonnay. So you could use it for both, or maybe you do a blog article about Chardonnay and how it grows and how it tastes and what do you pair it with and all that. So can use these for different things as well. So here's the calendar. It's going to be blank when you get it. This is just filled out for the demo, right? This is for B2C. So it's just for a skincare brand, right? And you can see it's color coded at the top here. We have holidays in red, events are green, email campaigns in orange. Website blog is baby blue. LinkedIn, I just have it as a LinkedIn article or newsletter, dark blue. Social media post, meaning just a graphic, an image, or a static, text post. Social media stories, which you can do on Instagram or Facebook, are the turquoisey color, and social media video, whatever the video is to you. So it could be reels, stories, whatever, shorts, long form video. So once we have the color coding here, I start usually with the hashtag days, right? So I figure out, are we going to use any? So we're going to use Motivation Monday and Wellness Wednesday. So what I'll do on the calendar, I will copy and paste all the Mondays and Wednesdays for the whole year, just to bookmark that. I might not use them every Monday and Wednesday, but I just slap them on the calendar so I know to potentially use it for content. That's the first thing. I'll go on to the holiday pages, check off those boxes, and then I'll bring the holidays onto the calendar. There's no automatic way to do it, but you have to manually add them on. So in this month, we're going to do New Year's and MLK Day will automatically be on the calendar for everybody. But for the skincare brand, we're going to do International Self-Care Day, as well as National Hyaluronic Acid Day, because that exists. And so they'll be plugged in those holidays. I have an event we're doing. We're going to be at the Fairfax Farmers Market. We're going to write a blog. We'll have one blog coming out on the 9th. So I have the basics kind of going here. So starting with social media, right? We plan out, okay, what are we going to do for social media? We have a bunch of things going on. We can do ask a question. So on the first line, and it's going to be a static post, we're going to do is ask a question. And then on the second line of purple, we're going to put what the question is. So we know for planning purposes, we're going to ask how many skincare products do you use? So I can create a post about that, right? On the Motivation Mondays, we're going to do an aging gracefully quote. Then we'll do one changing your skincare routine. On the Wellness Wednesdays, we're going to do skincare tips. And then we specifically put what that tip will be on vitamin C, on sun protection, on food for skin. Right? We're going to do on Thursdays, we're going to do how to use product videos. So we specifically put what we're talking about each one: lavender face wash, the serum, the night cream. And then we know for planning as well as archive purposes what we need to create. And then we know we can look back and go, oh, okay, we already did the video on the extra creamy night cream. Right? So start filling this in on the wellness. I think we already did the Wellness Wednesdays. We're going to do a blog, right, on menopause and aging skin. We're going to do a social media post, and we're going to do an email on it. Okay, this is B2C, so we don't involve LinkedIn here, right? So we have a contest going. We have the Fairfax Farmers Market. So you can see here, just plugging in everything, and you're starting to fill up your calendar, right? And once you start seeing, like, okay, it's pretty easy. Like as someone said, the next step is creating all the content, but it's easy to start planning it. For emails, which is why we're here, so we look at what do we have going on, right? A lot of things going on this month. We have the farmers market. We have the January resolution sale. We have a blog. We have a contest for one day, win a skincare trio. And we have the sale on the hyaluronic acid serum. So email works a little bit backwards. So we'll start with the event, right? Fairfax Farmers Market. So the very last email we're going to plan is the day before. And then working backwards, we'll say, okay, once a week for 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how much time you have. You want to give people time to plan for events. We'll email out weekly about the Fairfax Farmers Market. So we'll plug in going backwards. In this case, we only see January. So the first one will be on the 2nd. Okay, so we have the January resolution sale. So the very last one will be the last day of the month, easy. That will be last chance, ends at midnight. And then once a week going back to the beginning of January on January 2nd. Right, so the blog post, just once, we post it up on the same day we publish it. We can get that pre-scheduled. We're running the there's a contest, win a skincare tree. It'll just be a 1-day announcement. The sale on the hyaluronic acid is on that particular day. So we send out an email for that. So we have all those plugged in, right? So you see, it's hopefully getting easier, right? B2B version works exactly the same, right? So this is for as if it was my marketing business. Color coding's the same. I use Marketing Monday and Thursday Thoughts. I do emails for my webinars and my services, right? I do blogs, and then here you add an AC article, or it will be newsletter. I should change that. Article newsletter. So I'll publish it on my website. I will do the LinkedIn newsletter. I will do a social media post everywhere else that I use, and then I will email it out. So here it's easy you won't forget, like, oh, I posted on my website, I forgot to do the email, or I didn't go to LinkedIn. Here it's all planned out. Just go back to your calendar and look and see what you need to do. So if you need to leave, that's okay. You'll get all the assets after the class. So you'll get that email to you. But we'll cut it off at this time. No, I'm kidding. You'll get the whole thing. So you can see, hopefully this part's easy, right? The planning part, once you have it all planned out, and get to the month ahead. If you can only plan out a week ahead or 2 weeks ahead, start with that. Don't stress yourself out that you can't get that far ahead. Again, the planning part or filling out your calendar is the easy. Where you're probably going to get jammed up is the content creation, right? So hopefully this helps with your planning and your overwhelm, taking some away. A couple extra pages. So for your social media posts each month, you have, it's called a post page, but I kind of call it the prep page. So where you lay out all your social media. We do it for our clients because, and for us as well, for my own marketing, because our clients need to approve it. So we lay out the captions, the hashtags, the link that we're going to use in it, the image we created, so they can review everything and say it looks great or change this or that. I do it for my own business because now once I lay it all out here, I can then go to my scheduling tool. I use Metrical, and I just right next to each other in the browser, and I'll just copy paste, upload, schedule, and within an hour, hour and a half, depending how quick I am, I have everything scheduled for the month by the end of the month. So June's already all scheduled out, and only spontaneous things that might come up will add in there. And then for archive purposes, it's easier to come look here than try to scroll through your Instagram to see what you posted in January. Okay, so new pages for 2024. I have a blog prep tab. This isn't by month. It's just all of your blogs that you want to do. You can put the topics. And again, some of these you might not need, like topic approval stuff. This is kind of laid out for a client of mine. You can put the images you're going to use. The Google Drive link we share when I'm doing blogs for clients, I'll put them up on a Google Docs shared drive so my client can review it from there. I sometimes ask them to add in quotes or things. You can edit it, and then we publish it. And then I think there's on the very last column on the right, there's the actual URL to your blog link on there. So it's a blog prep page. And then there's also an email prep page now. So you can lay out all the emails that you're going to do for the month, like that January 2nd, we're going to do the January resolution first email and talk about the farmers market. Those are the links that we're going to link to. Here are the images we created that are going to drop into the email. And then we have the subject line and the preview line, and then you have everything here laid out for you. So hopefully that's helpful. You will get that calendar to download with everything else, and try it out, use it, tweak it however you want to play with it. I had somebody who was showing me the calendar and he changed all the colors, which I'm like, that's okay, as long as they work for you. But as you can see, once you start planning things ahead, you can start syncing and coordinating your social media, your email, blogs, etc. Right? So use whatever works for you on that. Subject lines, back to email. Very important. I think as you'll see here, 50% of most people open an email based on the subject line alone. And what was that? 50, almost 50% like emojis in the subject line. So I'm going to show you a little case study of subject lines as well, so you can kind of see an evolution. But here's some ideas for subject lines. You can do short and sweet. I'm not sure I like hello. You could try it. Clever and catchy. Keep those buns warm. Put a ringtone on it. They put personal. Thanks for joining us, Joe. Right? Informational. Big news. News stories opening near you. Ask a question. How safe are your family jewels? Right? I mean, a couple of things, right? How to grow your email list, how to remove stains. Urgent. 2 days left to register. Don't miss out. The list, 10 pieces to add to your wardrobe now, right? 5 dog treats to help their skin. Scares, just 10 tickets left. Limited time offer. Oops, I'm sorry, went too fast there. Local, hot in Houston, this week's events, keywords, command, subscribe, join us, stop wasting your money, right? Controversial, terrorism in your backyard. I don't know if I want about that. Sneak peek at our new feature, right? Here's some more. Fear of missing out, right? You're missing out on points. Tonight only. Uh-oh, your prescription's expiring. Curiosity. Don't open this email, right? What they eat in prison. I don't know if I'm curious about that. I personally know about that. Funny deal. Licking your phone never tasted so good, right? Try to avoid these 27 people on New Year's Eve, right? So you can have fun. New vacation on Mars. Vanity. Don't wear last year's styles. Age-defying beauty tricks. Greed. 25% off your favorites. 2 for 2. Sloth. Native ad in 60 minutes or less. 212 blog post ideas. Right? Pain points. Where do all these toys go? Stop wasting money on ink. Right? Personal. We mentioned already. Mary, do you remember me? Happy birthday, Mary. We like our name on there. Let's see. How can you afford first 10,000 readers? Hey, forget something. Here's 20% off. I'm deleting your Enviro account. Right? We don't want to miss out. Couple boring, simple ones could work. Hey, best code ever. Boring works too. No, I wouldn't use all of them, but they get a high open rate. Sales and marketing newsletter, staff shirts and photos. Try those. So here's a case study for you. This is one of my former clients, and I'll tell you why I'm happy that it's a former client. But I worked with Jen back in 2022. And she has a collagen. She started with a collagen creamer. She had 2 flavors of a collagen creamer. So if you're familiar with collagen, the benefits of collagen, good for your skin. We lose collagen as we age. So there's a lot of healthy properties to collagen on its own. But her creamers had a couple of additional features. So they had cocoa for increased blood flow to the brain, MCT oil, which is good for better focus and energy, and prebiotic fiber, which is good for gut health, obviously. So when I first started working with Jen, in my coaching program, she was sending out emails, but she was kind of like, okay, I keep sending out, here's my product, here's my product, here's my product. Okay, what else? It's working, but it's not great. So the big problem with her was she was trying to focus on too large of an audience. So when I asked her, I go, who's your target? Well, women, from 20 to dead, right? You can have collagen in, men can have collagen too, but generally she was going to focus on women in a large swath of age group, right? And as I was working with her, I said, a lot of the benefits of the product, really, you're probably focusing on older audience, right? As you lose collagen and sagging, bagging, wrinkles, fine lines, all that stuff. Memory loss, brain fog, etc. Anybody can have these issues, some of these issues, but generally it was starting to look like maybe you should start focusing on the 45 plus, specifically maybe women who are experiencing menopause. So I had to wrestle the alligator with her and convince her to start targeting I sent her to a menopause conference that another one of my client hosts every year in Los Angeles. And she had a table and she sold out of her product. And I think finally convinced her, like, maybe we focus on that. So once we did that, we can now, the messaging can target that audience rather than all women who may or may not be experiencing the same issues. Somebody at 20 is not going to have the same issues as somebody who's 55. So once we did that, now she listened to me, she watched this class, and she targeted her messaging to her new target specific audience. So here's one example: bye bye brain fog hot cocoa recipe. You experience that in menopause. All right, so here's one example. If I can move the next slide. Leave brain fog cravings and low energy in 2022. Love Starbucks chai. Try this healthy swap. One of her, she had chai flavor and a chocolate coconut flavor was the creamer. She eventually added a plain collagen powder, but this was her initial product. Here, get that healthy glow, 70% off. One simple hack to reduce fine lines and hydrate skin. Again, target audience. Want 18% fewer wrinkles and fine lines? Would that have appealed to a 20-year-old or a 25-year-old? Right? We're not really thinking about them until we start seeing them, right? Until you have a plastic surgeon point them out and then you didn't realize you had them, right? Our best deal of 2023, complimentary collagen. Who doesn't want something free? Anxiety, the hidden costs and what to do, another target audience. Scarcity, only 5 tubs left, a running woman emoji, right? There's the emojis thrown in. Share your feedback for a free gift. We've never done this before, right? Curiosity. What have you never done, Jen? What is it? Because we adore you. It's a Valentine's Day special. Want to sleep like a baby tonight. That insomnia definitely hits that target audience, probably menopause. Here's a little Valentine's Day gift for you. Top 5 causes of hair loss in women. Another issue of that target audience. Not that you can't lose hair younger, but generally we're targeting now to this particular audience, right? You're invited to a glowing skin workshop, right? 8 home remedies for hair loss. So why I'm happy, she's a former client. So as she started targeting her audience and targeting her messaging and adding the collagen and all that, she wound up selling the company. So that's why I'm proud that she's no longer a client of mine. The new company didn't need me, but she did sell the company. So good thing with the emails, right? So cleaning, the non-sexy part of email, but it's important. Okay. So you do want to check bounces for obvious typos. So something might be spelled Gmail spelled wrong. Clean what you can, right? There's hard bounces versus soft bounces. So hard bounces is like, could be a typo. There could be the IP might have blocked for some reason. You'll see if you're using an email platform, they'll give you specific reasons why it's a hard bounce. Some of them you might be able to fix, others might not. Soft bounce is like the auto reply, vacation responses, or their mailbox is full. I would say wait for the auto replies because they'll just keep trying those. I usually generally will start deleting the full inbox full. I did it for a long time. I said, even if they clean out their inbox, if they ever do, are they going to really read it? So why have the dead weight? What to do with your bounce subscription status? Sorry, what do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Lorena. What do you do with the bounce? Like, do you get rid of the bounces or yeah, I always look through them. Every time I send a campaign email, I'll look at the reasons for it, and then I'll delete obviously ones that I'll look and see, can I fix any typos? Was there anything mistyped? Is it just like, hey, it's just a bad address they're no longer using, or it's inactive? Is it blocked for some reason that I can't change anything on that? I have like less than 1% bounce rate on like I said, a pretty big, good size list. So, I'll get a few of those and just clean them. The mailbox full, I'll just go ahead and delete those. I leave the auto reply, vacation replies on there because I figure eventually sometimes people forget, like I'm on vacation in February and it's June, right? Like forgot to turn the auto reply off, but they're still getting the emails, right? And then can you Engage in active emails. Look at most of the platforms. I know Constant Contact, MailChimp, you can look at each person's activity history and going, well, Patty, she gets my emails. She rarely opens them, or once in a while she might open, she clicks on things. Or if it's somebody who like never opened anything, yeah, you might at a certain point want to say, maybe we just remove the dead weight. They're not interested. But before you do that, is there any way to re-engage in active contacts? Now, somebody who got on your list, say, maybe I added them in January and then 6 months later, they got like 30 emails from me and they still have never opened a single one. I would probably say, probably not re-engage them at all. They're just haven't been interested. But in the case of maybe they purchased from me before, they did something, but they're just not engaging in any way. So here's an example of that. So case study, this was a client that hired me back in 2018 or so. They hired me because they wanted help with email marketing, and they had an older list that their model is they have wine from Burgundy, France. They have 30 different producers, 250 SKUs. They import it in here to California, and it ships from California. And he was pretty prolific with emails when I met him. He was sending out weekly specials like cases of mixed wines, and they're generally always 500 and a plus, even at a discount. 700, 1100 plus dollar cases. And they were doing okay, but he said, our list is getting older and it's smaller. Should we want to grow our list? But the one thing he never did, which I wish he would have before he met me, is he never looked under the hood to see what happened to some of the customers who stopped purchasing. But I did that. And I said, well, a couple years before, there were a bunch of people who ordered, but they never went over an average order value of $300. All of his specials were way over 500, right? So you weren't going to get somebody to aspire to buy from 300 to 700, 900. So he stopped talking to them, right? He stopped appealing to them because that was their comfort zone. So I said, well, let's try to see if we can get these people back after a few years. So we said, let's just do some deals at half of that. $300 would be the top, half a case. And guess what? We raised the dead, not the literal dead. I can't do that. But people had not purchased for a couple of years. Now think about this. Scary, but it's not our money, so we can't be that scary for us. But think about that ROI. Right? That $40 average return on investment for every dollar. Now think about those couple of years, and we'll just guess. They purchased $300 and that's, 6-pack of wine, and they might drink that, you drink your wine. So you might purchase, let's just say those $300 customers purchase 3 times a year. So let's just say let's round it up to $1,000. And he could have had, I don't know what the total number was of the dead that we raised, but let's just say it's 10 customers, $1,000 a year, $10,000 a year, and then just keep adding for each additional customer that lost opportunity cost because they stopped talking to them. If they had looked under the hood and said, oh, okay, well, their comfort zone is $300. Let's do some $300 deals. They could have potentially got thousands of dollars that they just lost without looking at that number. So again, not our money that we lost, but it's still, that lost opportunity cost. So look under the hood, see if you can re-engage anybody, talk to them, find out what's going on. Again, if you stop talking to them and appealing to them, like maybe they only ever bought white wine, but he only did mixed cases and you couldn't substitute. I'm going to tune out. I'm not going to start buying red wine if I only ever bought white wine. So again, making sure you're segmenting your list. So if you find trends and people are only doing one thing or the others, can you segment them to get that hyper targeting in? So very, very important to look under the hood. So spam, and some people are asking about DMARC and all that, SPF and all that. I don't know if they're still in the room, but important to look under the hood. It's a little scary slide, but I figured you'll get the slide. Talk to your computer people, right? That understand all this. Marketing should understand it as well. So when it comes to building an email list and buying lists, this is one place where you'll find I'm going to say don't buy lists. There are lists that you can purchase out there. You do have to be very careful about purchasing lists. Couple of reasons. So even if they tell you that the list is what it is, it might not be. Might not be very up to date, even if they tell you it's not. I have come across lists. One example is like I'm on our local Chamber of Commerce board for here in the town of Venice in Los Angeles. And a month or so ago, I started getting solicitations from some email list company. And every week I was getting an email from them saying, hey, we have the Los Angeles chamber member directory. We have the Whittier chamber directory email list. And then one morning I get one saying, hey, we have the email directory for the Venice Chamber of Commerce. And I was like, wait, what? No, you don't. We don't sell our list. We don't rent it. We don't give it out unless they went pulling it from the directory on the website. But even that would take some time because you have to click on one at a time. But I knew that legitimately wasn't correct. So I don't know what we would have gotten if I would have purchased that list. And also you have to be careful, a couple of reasons. If you purchase a list and you put it into MailChimp or whatever, and you email it out, and you get a 10% or above of people who unsubscribe and choose, I never signed up for this, then that's going to trigger spam, right? Like I never signed up for this list. Well, that means you didn't opt in, right? You didn't get opt-ins. Where'd you get this? Do they want to hear from you? So you would be blacklisted off of the platform if you get over a 10%. That would be a trigger. Okay. So you do want to be careful with that, with purchasing a list. If you purchase it and you dump it into MailChimp, whatever platform, and you haven't cleaned it, if they told you it's clean and you believe them, don't do it. Don't believe them. If you haven't cleaned it elsewhere, do not use your mail platform as a list cleaner. They will not like that either. If you get over a 10% bounce rate, you will get blacklisted off the list because they're like, where is this list from? When did you last use this list? Right? So they could potentially like turn off your account. I had this happen by mistake with a client because she accidentally when she exported out her list to send to me like updates, she accidentally included bounces, not knowing. We didn't know. We uploaded it and we sent out an email and it got a super high bounce rate and they put us under quarantine. And then we figured out what happened. So we backtracked, deleted the list, re-uploaded it without it and fixed the problem. So you have to be careful with that. You know, don't use a separate list cleaning company to clean it. So if you are going to buy it, like I said, I don't recommend it because of the potential for spam. You could provide a double opt-in. You have to be careful with that because sometimes that secondary one goes to spam and then they miss it. So they might not get added to the list. This alphabet soup here, authenticating your domain email, important, right? So someone mentioned the SPF, DKIM, DMARC. This basically is, and this is why one of the reasons why you do not want to use a Gmail, Hotmail, whatever, Yahoo for your main business account. You can't authenticate those. You can't prove. I could go to any of your businesses, set up a Gmail account with your business name and start sending emails from it, right? And spoof it. I couldn't do that from your domain. I don't have access to your domain unless I figure out how to log into your domain host and set up an account there. But generally you authenticate it saying, yes, I do own goldenstatemarketing.net. I have access to it through GoDaddy. I go to Constant Contact, my email provider. I have them shake hands, so to speak. And then they can say, yep, you are rightfully allowed to send emails from Patty at goldenstatemarketing.net. or Patty at California Wine Marketing, right? So I can't do that with Gmail or Hotmail. So it's one of the technical reasons that you don't want to use it. I just think it doesn't look professional to be using a Gmail address. And I know it's free, but $5 a month, I think, for each domain email, usually GoDaddy. So, and then a new rule that came about, a new thing that came out with Yahoo and Google in February is they request, especially if you're a large email sender, but you can get caught up in this trap even if you don't send 5,000 emails a day, where if you haven't authenticated, if you're trying to send from a Gmail or a Yahoo or whatever, and you have to authenticate it now. Like in Constant Contact, February, you're like, you need to authenticate it if you're going to use your domain as the from. So I only can use the ones that have been fully authenticated as the from, or the reply at or the from in that account. So I don't think they're even allowing you to use a freemium account any longer. You have to have a one-click unsubscribe. So this is why you don't use your Outlook and go, and send a promotional email through that, because you don't have any way for them to unsubscribe. They'd have to hit reply and go, hey, unsubscribe me, but that's not a one-click unsubscribe. Okay, so you do want to be careful and mindful of that. Stay above board with it. Use a domain account, again, for I think professional reasons, and also because it's just going to get harder, as there are unfortunately scammers out there and spammers who don't, we can't have nice things because there are people who just do bad things. We have to all fall under the same tightening of the, of the screws, to make sure we keep everything safe and nobody's spoofing our account and nobody's, sending junk mail when they shouldn't be. So hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Let's see. Do I live at the Marina City Club? No, I do not. I'm in Venice. So close, but not at the Marina City Club. List cleaning services, I mentioned that. So the one that I use, I'll type it in the chat. zerobounce.net. And it's one, it just did it as 2 words. Sorry, it's 1 word. And what it does is basically you upload your list and it will send it through their system, and then it will spit out a bunch of lists for you and say, this is good, these are bad, these are questionable. There are a couple different reasons they'll give you, and you can then say, okay, these are verified, they're good, they're safe to send. The ones that are like bad, don't use those. And it's relatively inexpensive. It's pennies on the dollar. I just sent through a list. I think it was like $13 or $18 for a list of like under 2,000. The biggest one I did was $500,000. It was $1,000. It was for the city of LA. So it's relatively cheap, but definitely if you're going to buy a list, or even if you have an older list that you're getting, then run it through a cleaner. It's worth it. List Append is different. It's if you have an email address that comes up bad and you happen to have other information like a phone number or physical address, it will attempt to match against those other things. But you do have to be careful, because maybe it finds my husband Joe at the same address, but I don't want it to convert it to his address because he might not want the email from you, right? So, but cleaning is most important. I don't have a List Append service. I don't think Zero Bounce does appends, but you can Google email List Append to find one out there. I think I only used it once ever that I did a List Append. So spamming, spammy words, spamminess. Here we go. Most of the email platforms don't have spam checkers. The only one that ever did that I use was Salesforce, and they spent like, thousands of dollars per month for their platform. So of course they had it on there. But this is a free tool, totally free, easy to use. Just go to mail-tester.com. And how it works is, so if you're on MailChimp, for example, and you can send yourself test emails, what you're going to do is you're going to open up the browser, go to Mail Tester. It's going to generate this test email for you. You're going to go back to your MailChimp, send the test email to this address, keep this browser open. Once that is sent, come back here and then click then check your score, and it will give you a scoring and then tell you what happened. So in this case, this was a tattoo shop client of mine. We hadn't yet authenticated, so that was the biggest one. We hadn't done the handshake between MailChimp and GoDaddy to go, hey, this is cool. So we fixed that. Spam assassin things you can improve. I think there might have been some spammy words, something triggered. I forgot exactly what it was. The broken link, it said your Twitter link is broken, but they didn't have Twitter. So that was kind of a ghost thing. And then you can go back and test it again. So I think you get 2 more tests for free on the same email. And it will, give you a score. I just did this yesterday with a coaching client, brand new one. And I said, well, let's check and see your emails. Cause they were questioning, like, are their emails good? They do insurance stuff, insurance exam testing and stuff like that. We just wanted to test out their emails to see if anything was being triggered Were there any keywords? But he got like 9.5 out of 10. So it was actually pretty clean. I think I forgot what the one thing was, something very simple with that the 0.5 was, but pretty good score. So it worked. So checking before you send, definitely check everything. Check, check, check. Do your spam testing, check your links. Do they all click somewhere correctly? Do you have the correct subject line and pre-header line? So again, do the spam check, 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 everything. I still do. I still get nervous after thousands and thousands of emails. We're almost done. I know we're getting close to the top of the hour. I have this in automation, then we'll be done. So A/B testing, kind of mentioned that when it comes to testing two different things like the emoji line. So A/B testing or split testing is basically taking an email, splitting the list into two, trying out two different things, seeing which thing works better. So the different things you can test on. Subject line is probably one of the most popular because, again, people judge by the subject line. You maybe try like, hey, free shipping and one without free shipping. What would be different, the emojis, right? Try emoji and no emoji with the same subject line. You can try, you don't have to really split test or A/B test with days of the week. You could do like, well, I'm going to send this email on a Monday at 9 a.m., but maybe I'll try it on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. and see if that works differently. Is it better to use your name as a front name or your company? So that this came up with a client of mine. She's a nutrition coach, and she had a friend sign up for her email list, but he wasn't aware of her business name. So she sent out the next newsletter and he unsubscribed. And of course, she's like, oh, what happened? She called him and he goes, oh, I didn't know it was you. Now, obviously, he didn't bother opening the email because he would have seen her picture and recognized it, but he just went off of the name. So he judged it based on who was sending it, didn't recognize it. So we changed that to be her name at the company name. So even I do that. I do Patty Ross at Golden State Marketing. So this way, both of them are there in case they know me versus they know my company name. So that you can maybe test and try one or the other, but it's like, or just do both, right? So trying different things to see what works better, right? Yes, as I love A/B testing helps identify the best subject line. People are triggered by different things. I mean, triggered in a good way, right? What appeals to them, something funny, useful, the urgent, so a discount versus not a discount. We have seconds to appeal to somebody. And we're scrolling down all of our emails and we're saying, what do we want to engage with further and spend minutes with it? What's going to attract it? So it's a good idea to try to test it. Let's see. Otter AI could not allow me to access it because the transcription is longer than 30 minutes. Do I need to pay? I don't know anything about Otter AI. I don't use it. So you'll get a transcription of it with the Zoom. We'll actually show you the transcription of it as well as the recording. You'll get that. So if that helps. Consistency, right? How often to send emails, right? So we always say, well, I don't want to annoy my customers, right? And I send it once, it should be good. But you have to go off of human behaviors, right? We're all different, good or bad. There's no one better than the other. But I always use this analogy. So we have people who are Christmas shoppers in July, right? The early birds are like, I'm going to get it done. I don't have to worry about it for the next 3 months. It's all done, right? God bless those people. Then we have those, well, okay, I'm going to wait until Black Friday after Thanksgiving. We sell a month, start of the Christmas shopping season. And then you have some of us are like, oh, it's December 24th. I still have plenty of time, right? No good, bad, or better. It's okay. But probably we all run our lives like that, right? The early birds probably do early bird stuff all the time. The Pelotons in the middle are probably always the Pelotons. And then the ones that are like Christmas shoppers on the 24th probably are last minute people all around. Work with all of those behaviors. That's okay. Again, no good or bad, but realize that one person might respond to something right away. Other person might tune out, right? So when I send if you guys are on my email list, you'll see, because I have classes every week and almost like at least 2 or 3 days a week, mostly. So I'll send out, let's say, for example, this week I had classes on Wednesday and Thursday. I don't think I did it on Tuesday. And I'll send an email out Monday saying webinars this week. Now I've already sent emails from the previous week, and you can go see my future emails or webinars. But I'll say, okay, this week, and I'll put 2 or 3 in there and go check out more. And then on the Tuesday, I'll send out another webinars this week. And then there's a webinar yesterday morning. So early morning, a few hours before the class, I'll say webinar today at 10 a.m. Pacific time, email marketing. Okay. So I'm hitting all these different groups, right? I sent it weeks ago. I sent it days earlier. I sent it the morning of. So it was interesting. Somebody received the morning of email and he replied back and he goes, in the future, could you remind me a little bit earlier because this is too late? And I just said in my head, I said, I didn't respond to that. He said, well, why didn't he see the other 10 emails about this class? Like, why did he only get the one that was that morning? Was he a Christmas shopper on December 24th person? And it only finally registered, like it said this morning at 10 a.m. marketing webinar, where the one the day before and the day before that and the week before that, did they all go to spam and he only got that one? I don't know. So it was interesting that maybe it didn't register until that last minute. So honor those different types. Don't think that one email is going to be enough. Okay. So definitely want to be more consistent. You don't want to just start, fall asleep in January through October and then hit it up in the holidays, unless your business is very seasonal. It's okay not to have business the rest of the year. When to send emails out. So best days, you can see here, it shoots up. Earlier in the week usually has always been better. You can see here weekends are not as good to send the emails out. You can test, and see, I mean, the email platforms have the algorithms and when people are opening emails up. And for years, it's usually been 9 a.m. to noonish, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, earlier in the week always seem to be better. Tuesday shoots up. You can see on the time scale here that 9 a.m. to noon is still that sweet spot. So again, they know you might get people who, might open an email at 3 o'clock in the morning, like probably me, so I'm still awake. But generally, most of us are in that sweet spot of when we're opening up the emails. Okay. And the final section, I'm just a little bit over. Final section here is email automations. So tons of different things you can do with automations. Your welcome emails, your abandoned carts. There's even browse abandon as well. Birthday or anniversary emails, online reviews. These are all from MailChimp, but they're all, standard. Reward VIP customers, identify high value customers. Again, a lot of these have to do with having a shopping cart so you can identify customers, right? So if you don't, some of these won't make sense. Eventbrite, they have a connection to Eventbrite. So if people sign up for an event, you can do some automations with that. So MailChimp's had, constant contact. Some of them have a basic automation where it's just basically send out this email 2 days later, send it out again to the people who didn't open it, right? So it's kind of basic automation. More sophisticated is what's called if this, then that email, right? So you can split it into different behaviors. So here's an example, and this is from Active Campaign, but they all work, the if this and that all works the same. So we start with a welcome email. We wait, I wouldn't wait 7 days. I'd probably do in a day or so. We send a blog article, wait a few more days. Did they click on the link? If yes, we're going to send them an invitation to the webinar. If no, we'll send them a link to the ebook. Now, why they decided to do that, whatever that decision was, but we can do 2 different things based on that behavior, and then we just stop, right? Abandoned cart could look like this. So we send out an abandoned cart email. We wait a day. Did they make the purchase? If yes, let's send a thank you with a souvenir coupon. After a few more days, did they use the coupon? Yes, let's keep selling. Benefits of a season pass. Send it to the sales team to contact them. On the no, we'll send another cart reminder email. Did they do anything? If yes, we'll do upcoming ticket specials. Again, lead alert. So based on the different behaviors, we can split into if this or if that. And this is a fun one. This is called multi-channel or omni-channel events. So we can involve other channels in this process. So we start with an email. We wait a few days. Did they RSVP? If yes, we'll send a postcard, and then we'll put them as an attendee. Then we'll send a text message to remind them to show up. On the no side, well, let's get the sales team involved. We'll send the alert to the account manager to follow up, maybe by phone. If that didn't work, they'll go back, send another email. And then lastly, we're gonna do a retargeting social media campaign and hit some of them up. So again, you don't have to involve a postcard that costs more money, however, what the omni-channel looks like to you, or keep it all via email, but you have that opportunity to do that. And this is on MailChimp, same thing. They added this in late 2020, I think, finally. Their original one was that basic one I showed you that you can just kind of send it to people, didn't open it. But same thing, you have to have a shopping cart attached. Did they make the purchase? If yes, if no, etc. Same thing. And to wrap up finally, don't forget to segment if you can, get that better conversion. Do they want to spend over 300 or under 300 or red wine or white wine or whatever the split is? Use automation if you can to help nurture those leads. Always test. Be consistent throughout the year. Have a plan in place so it's going to get done or at all, right? Get done right. Definitely track results. Look under the hood, see what's working, what conversion you're getting. Right. And so hopefully, is everybody convinced who's in the room? Say amen, hallelujah, yes. Right. Email's important, right? And hopefully you believe you're a believer now. So the next steps for your business, make sure evaluate your email efforts. What can you improve? If you're not doing it, there's a lot of room for improvement, right? Understand your resources. Do you have the capacity to do this consistently? Do you have a plan in place for it? What are your untapped opportunities? How are you going to grow a list and utilize it? So have a plan in place because this is so important, and way before the holidays, if you're a holiday driven. So if you want to talk to me about your email marketing or any of your marketing, you're all welcome to schedule a free call with me. Just go be a Zoom session actually, rather than a call. Just go to callwithpatty.com or scan that QR code if you can. And let me see if there's any last questions. I appreciate you all sticking around a little bit longer. Can you please advise what we put before the mail tester? Oh, so you don't have to. Just go to mailtester.com and it will automatically generate that test email address for you. So you don't have to do anything. Just copy it, bring it into your email platform, send a test email, and then go back and then check your score. So yeah, there's nothing you have to do to generate that. And don't close it and reopen. So if you take that test email, put it in your MailChimp, for example, and then you close the browser and then go back to Mail Tester, it's going to generate a whole new email address for you. So make sure you keep that browser open. Does this Google update pertain to business email through Google? I have mine linked to my domain. I'm not sure, Madeline, if you're still here, what you mean. So does Google update pertain? Oh, I think you mentioned that Google. So really, you should be, that's through a platform like MailChimp. I know somebody showed me Gmass, which was email through Google Mail. I don't know if they have the same features though. If like you're sending your email through, I know like I think what you're saying, like say for example, if I had Patty at Golden State Marketing and I have it go into my Gmail and I respond from there. It's that's really for like one-off emails. Like say I'm responding to an email to you directly privately, but for campaign emails, you should be using an email platform for that. So I think that's what you're asking me. If not, re-ask. Can ask that. I do not. Well, sorry, Sally, you'd asked about the City Club. That's a fake. My Zoom background is fake. So I don't even know if that's Los Angeles or not. It could be Cleveland, who knows? Is your SEO ROI number of 2 for traditional SEO working on the code under the hood of your website? Yeah. So yeah, SEO, I mean, it's important, right, to do a search engine optimization on there. So yeah, definitely making sure you have the keyword. I mean, SEO involves obviously keywords, backlinks. So content that you'd have on there and asking for backlinks out there and content. Sorry, somebody's ringing the doorbell. So yeah, you still want to do it. Like I said, the ROI is different, but you still want to do that. Sorry about that. Okay. Do you recommend changing the subject line on follow-up emails? Yeah, you can definitely, so sorry, somebody has rang the bell and the dogs are responding to it. You definitely can mix it up. So like, well, for my emails, even if I'm promoting my services, I might change it slightly and see or try A/B testing on it, but I would potentially change that as well. Second, do you write this yourself or have a virtual assistant? Are you talking about the emails? I'm not sure what you're asking what I write. I do have a virtual assistant, but I do write the emails. I'm not sure if that was the question. How do you automate the emails related to sequences automation? So through the email platform, you would set up the automations. So you do have to have an email platform, and then you have to, have a platform that has automations on it. That makes sense. And let's see here. Oh, all your content. Oh, my assistant does more of the graphics than the content. So a little bit of it she does. How do you connect the email sign up on a website to an automatic bounce back email? Is it via the email carrier? Let's see, hold on. How do you connect the email sign up on a website to an automatic bounce back? Usually, I think what you're asking does, so if you're doing an email sign up like through MailChimp, all that's taken care of through their system. You can do the contact form, like the pop-up, and it will go into MailChimp, I think you're asking. So it will go right, and then the emails will drop into MailChimp. I think that's what you mean. So double opt-in. So say for example, I go to your website and you have an email newsletter sign up. I add in my email and I hit submit, and then the double opt-in, because that's the single one, like, because I'm putting my information in there, but they want to verify, because I could go type your email address into somebody else's email newsletter sign up. So it will send an email to the email you put in there and go, hey, did you really want to sign up for this list? That's the second opt-in. But a lot of times those go to the spam box and then they miss them and then they don't opt in. So that's kind of the tricky. And you can turn that feature on and off in most of the email platforms. Let's see, what kind of content do consumers want weekly and how does it vary between businesses? Blogs are tricky to maintain for a small business, but if you cost benefit ratio is better than reposting general details, it could be easily. Yeah, so yes, so there's a couple of things to look at with blogs and your content, right? There's providing educational, informational stuff, being the subject matter expert out there. People need to see what you have and what you know and what you talk about. Know, like, trust, right? So it's the benefit of them. On the technical side, if you talk to my buddy Brandon, who has SEO company, he's going to say you need blog content for SEO purposes, right? You can have blogs, you can help create backlinks with your blog content. Content matters for SEO and domain authority. So on his side of things, on his technical brain, he's like, yeah, you got to do it because you need it for the SEO. For my right side, creative marketing side, you need it for that brand awareness, subject matter expertise, etc. So it's definitely, and there are ways to get through blogs quickly, and build that content up. It does take time, but it's like, it is important. Then it's content you have to share off social media, on email, on your website, etc. So hopefully that definitely still very important to have that content on both sides of it. And on the SEO side of it, I always look, when I talk to my, new strategy sessions, I look at everybody holistically, right? So some of your businesses might have that immediate intent, right? Where your business, like you're a HVAC repair person and people are going to go, my air conditioning is broken. Where's a local HVAC person near me? Right. So if it's a high intent search business, then you're going to really want to focus on Google, SEO, building those backlinks, building domain authority, right? Versus brand awareness on social media. Does the HVAC guy need to post on social media? Potentially. Like reminding people like, hey, the hot summer's coming up, get your air conditioning checked out and maintained. But it's not going to be the place you go to look because your air conditioning is broken. It's 100 degrees. You're going to go to Google. So again, looking at it, some of you might just be building brand awareness, or if you're B2B, you should be focusing on LinkedIn. So I always, that's where my recommendation, sometimes I'm like, here, just go talk to Brandon. He's going to be more important for you than I'm going to be, because you have that immediate intent type business where they're going to be Google and searching for you and your product or service. So hopefully that makes sense. So I think that's all of them. Let's see, one more. I'm unfamiliar with and have never used any platforms like Constant or MailChimp. Can they manage your email campaign completely? No, they won't write your emails and send your emails out for you. I can if you want. You can talk to me about that, but no, they're basically just like providing that to you to use to send out your own emails. Unless they have, I don't know if they have the professionals through like me, that they have like that. But yeah, marketing people are going to be the ones that are going to do that for you if you can't do it yourself. But that's one of the services that I offer is done for you, is email campaigns, blogging, social media, etc. So definitely talk to me if you want to see how I can help with that. So I will finish there since we are over. Any other questions, you can email me. Watch your email box. It's going to come from me rather than from SCORE, the assets for the class. And if you do have any questions, you can just respond directly to me on that. And I'm happy to answer any questions. So thank you, everyone. I'm glad you found it useful. Get out there and email if you haven't. Build that list. Okay. Now you know how important it is. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And we'll hope to see you soon.